Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Our presentation is on organization. As you know, your son or daughter is moving on to 5th grade this year. 5th grade is a major transitional year. We make a transition from a more elementary setting to a middle level setting, which will be something familiar to them as they move on to the junior high level and the high school level. So our presentation tonight on organizational skills hopefully will make you aware of the things that the school is doing to create a successful transition from elementary through middle level and junior high level. And hopefully it's going to help you to be prepared for some of the things that your sons and daughters are going to be bringing home, where you can help them with their organizational skills so that they will be successful in the future.
The first item that we want to touch upon is the idea of different school materials that your child will be using. And the main point that we want to stress with this is that everything has to be labeled. With the transition and with your child getting older, they're going to have more control and more of their own responsibility of their own items. So putting their names on their folders, their coats, their pencil box, binders, anything that they might have. We don't anticipate losing a lot of items, but if we do, then that way we would be able to find them.
Next, we wanted to talk about the needed supplies. This list will be supplied to you through the mail, and you will be required to go to the store and purchase some of these items. The items that we have on this list, we wanted to review with you. And again, we're stressing that these items are labeled, again, so they can be returned if indeed they are lost. Those items include pencils, erasable black or blue pens, calculator that's scientific, erasers, loose leaf paper, a binder, folders, art supplies that will be kept in a pencil box, book covers, folders, and notebooks. Again, all these items need to be labeled in order to keep your child organized.
In addition to the needed supplies, your child will receive a planner, and that is provided by the school, so everyone will have the same one. This is so we can teach the same organizational skills with writing down homework, assignments, tests, things of that nature on the same level to get them ready to move on. These will be teacher guided, so across the board, regardless of what class your child is in, they will use the planner the same way, and our teachers will be reinforcing that. And we're asking that at home, you take a look at the planner and sign off that you have seen the planner, you see what's in it, so you can keep track at home that your child is writing down the necessary information in the planner.
Now as we make the transition to 5th grade, your son or daughter's teachers are going to be stressing the skill of note-taking this year. They'll begin to teach it. Note-taking is a very important skill. As adults, we all know that we continue to take notes often. All studies pretty much prove that when a child listens, reads, and then writes, he or she retains more knowledge. So over the course of 5th grade and now going into junior high and high school, it'll be a skill that they'll continue to need. So please support them with these skills, and we have some suggestions for you for watching the organized note-taking of your child this year.
Okay. To start with, we are stressing that all notes be dated so that the child knows when they're looking back and kept in chronological order. So when they're using these notes, because we really stress that notes aren't just done for the sake of taking notes, but that they are usable, that they are dated and kept in a chronological order.
One of the biggest issues with note-taking is the idea that the notes are actually legible and can be read. So when they are referenced to study time, you can read what is written. So we're going to stress the importance of writing neat and legibly while note-taking.
And going along with being neat and legible, we want to make sure that they're kept organized by starting a new page for each lesson so that the child will know where lessons have begun and where they're ending. Also helps with when tests are coming.
We want the notes to be very friendly and very practical and user-friendly. They need to be used as a study tool. So with the dating of the notes and the different materials that are going to be in the notes each day, we want to stress the importance that you're not just, again, taking the notes to take the notes, that you can go back and reference these as a study tool.
With that, in order to provide an additional incentive for taking notes, our teachers will be doing notebook checks with these notebooks. So they're going to be looking for, did your child date your notebook? Were their notes neat and legible? Can we tell that they're being used? Are they, writing them and then maybe using a highlighter or something, going back through these notes and using them? So rubrics will be provided to you through your teacher on what is expected, but this is another aspect of being organized and being in the 5th grade.
And with the 5th grade, this is the first time that they will be experienced in taking notes on their own. So we are going to encourage them to write incomplete thoughts. As they get older, their notes will obviously shorten down to phrases, but to get the idea of note-taking and to have that information to go back upon, we are going to make sure that they start their notes with complete thoughts, and then as they get better at it, they go from there.
Okay. Once again, we have a home reinforcement idea that we're going to pursue in our district, and that is that our notebooks are going to be signed. This will be occurring on a weekly basis. So we want you to go through, and your students, your children should bring home their notebooks, show you what's going on in school, and we would ask that you initial them at the end of each week, and the teachers will be checking for this as well.
This year in 5th grade, your son or daughter is going to be issued a locker for the storage of educational items as well as personal items that you're bringing to school. The locker does belong to the school and on loan to the child during the course of the year, and we at the school have some expectations and suggestions on how that locker should be organized for success this year.
Our motto with the locker organization is time is of the essence. So this is the first year that the students will be transitioning between classes, and they're going to need to adjust themselves to stop at their locker in between classes and get the materials that they need. We will have assigned locker breaks, so it won't be mass chaos. The students will know what time during the day they are able to stop at their locker and get materials, which will help them to kind of gauge what materials they need at what time.
And with this, the students, in order to keep them best organized, they really should organize their lockers based on these locker breaks, keeping those morning books together or those afternoon books together. And that will help, again, with the time that they're allowed to have at their locker. So if everything is together, they're able to get what they need to get to class and learn.
The students will have 4 minutes between each class with the assigned locker breaks to go to their lockers and get the materials that they need for the transition. So our teachers are going to be stressing the importance of using that time wisely in the hall, getting the materials that you need, moving to class, and getting there on time. We're really going to try to make sure that there's no dilly-dallying, and the chaos in the hallway is at a minimum.
Next on our list is contents of our lockers. Many times this is a huge part of being organized. There's all kinds of things that are brought to school that we need to make sure our lockers stay clean and uncluttered. So things that should be in a locker, obviously your textbooks and school supplies. You're going to have, during the weather, you're going to have coats and different things and gym clothes. But these things also need to be taken care of, and that's why we've also organized a set time each Friday where we will have about 5 minutes of a take-home time where the students will have an opportunity to take different things home out of their lockers and try to keep that locker as organized as possible so they're able to stay organized throughout the year.
Lastly, on our talk about organization, we're going to talk a little bit about time management. We as adults know that time management is very important as we live our lives according to watches and deadlines all the time. Now, as the students transition to 5th grade, they're going to have more and more activities that they're responsible for juggling. Activities in school as well as extracurricular activities. So we have some suggestions for you and for them as how they should organize themselves.
Some of the suggestions that we're going to put forward and we're going to use to help our students stay organized. The first one is we're going to provide them with 2 schedules, 2 class schedules. One that we're going to ask they put in their planner, so they always have it to reference to, and the other is going to be posted in their locker. So when they stop at those locker breaks, they don't have to look through their planner. If they need to reference, they have it there right in front of them.
And these schedules are very important to have in both of those places because of our school policy, and that is that if a student is tardy or late 3 times, that would, now being in 5th grade, have a higher consequence of being in detention. So once again, the schedules in the locker help the student to know where they're going, where they need to be, what they need. And also having it in their planner will aid them in that as well.
And in addition to the time management idea, your child follows a schedule throughout the day. And our at-home reinforcement for this piece is to ask that you work with your child at home to structure some kind of routine at home, to follow a schedule and to keep activities organized. So a couple of the examples we had up there: sports, music, practices, activities after school. You know, if we know what time practice is, maybe schedule a time for homework, or schedule a time for computer time or TV time, or some type of routine, though, to follow that time management so your child gets used to balancing all of the different activities at the same time.
The organizational skills that we're going to be teaching your son or daughter in 5th grade hopefully is going to follow them through junior high and high school and make them a successful student throughout the course of their education in the school district, and hopefully even in the post-secondary education. All studies also prove that when parents get involved in their child's education, those children tend to be more successful and more confident in themselves. So we please ask you to continue to be a part of your child's educational process, to assist us at the school by going through these things at home. We appreciate your attendance at the session tonight. We'd like to see you in the future.